Before we begin today's video, I would give a shout out to one of our newest subscribers, Willgrath. Thank you for subscribing and welcome to the family. And now on with today's video. If you are a regular on this channel, then you will know that I love dragons. It is one of the inspirations behind my username, which is a corruption of the word dragon. Greetings, and I am Drahan, and welcome to Pathfinder Hero Flux. That is Flux, short for fluctuation. And in this series, we take a look at characters from across media and bring them into Pathfinder 2nd Edition as a playable character. And today we are celebrating the month of villainy with one of my favorite villains, simply because she is a dragon, coming from the adventure path known as the Cult of Cinders. We are talking about Belmazog. You'll probably remember this character from my video covering Draconians, if they were created by Paizo. She is the leader of the Cinder Claw cult. And while technically her design is based off of a black dragon, because this was prior to the remaster, I do assume that she would have an updated appearance when the remaster comes out for her character specifically. She is a great character, and today we are going to be taking a look at her challenge rating 9 stat block and converting it into acceptable stats for a player character so that you may be able to play as Belmazog, well, or at least someone similar to Belmazog. So let's go ahead and dive into the lore of this character and see how we can play as the great Priestess herself. Starting things off with our stats. Strength, Constitution, Wisdom, and Charisma will each get a bonus, making them 12 each. Now, while Belmazog is known as a Bogard, we do not have a Bogard ancestry. Our closest ancestry is the Tripkey, as they are both frog folk. For the heritage, we are going with dragon blood, since Belmazog is a half-dragon, infused with the powers of Dahak when his fragment was embedded in her egg. This ancestry will give us a +2 to our dexterity and wisdom while decreasing our strength. We also get 6 hit points. We are a size category of small. We get a speed of 25 feet. Low light vision. We have natural climber. Languages in common and Tripkey. Though if you ask a dungeon master nicely, you could go with a Bogard instead. We also get Draconic Exemplar. And we will be choosing Horned Dragon. For our ancestry feat, we are going with Breath of the Dragon, and thanks to our Draconic Exemplar, that will be Poison. Like I said, there's more than likely going to be a remaster for Belmazog, and if there is, she'll probably be a Horned Dragon, though I can also see the Conspirator Dragon being another good choice. It all depends on what you're looking for. Though honestly, I'd probably lean more towards a Conspirator Dragon, since it looks like a better dragon than the Horned Dragon. I just went with Horned just because of all the horns. Moving on to our background. This time we are taking the Dahak inspiration of the background literally instead of just a metaphor. For the background of Touched by Dahak, we get an increase to our strength, intelligence, and charisma. Now that we have our increase in intelligence, go ahead and grab another feat, which is going to, well, not another feat, another language, which is going to end up being Draconic. Next is your trained skills. You are going to be trained in athletics and dragon lore and get a free feat in Titan Wrestler. Touched by Dahak is one of my favorite backgrounds, and we have used it a lot for our character builds. This is the first time we are taking the actual inspiration of Dahak into consideration. Now for our class. We could have just went with a cleric sorcerer sort of build, since that's aesthetically what she is, but because of the fragment of Dahak being embedded into her egg, I thought it was appropriate to go with the Exemplar instead of a traditional cleric. This will give us a +2 to our strength, extra hit points equal to 10 plus a constitution modifier. For proficiencies, we are trained in perception, we are trained in reflex saving throws, while experts in fortitude and will saving throws. For skills, we will be trained in religion, acrobatics, deception, and intimidation. We are trained in simple weapons, martial weapons, and unarmed attacks. For defenses, we'll be trained in light armor, medium armor, and unarmored defense. We get access to Divine Spark and Icons. Go with Gaze Sharp as Steel, Hands of the Wildling, and Victor's Wreath. We also get access to Humble Strikes and 2 feats. For your class feat, Sanctified Soul will work the best here, while our free feat is Shield Block. Going on to level 2, we get access to the class feat of Sorcerer Dedication. More specifically, we are going with the Draconic Bloodline. Even more specifically is Divine Dragon. And specific still, obviously we need to go with the Diabolic Dragon, as Dahak would most likely be a Diabolic Dragon in a remaster. We are also going with the skill feat of Underwater Marauder. Thanks to the Sorcerer Dedication, we are now trained in Society and Performance. Moving on to level 3, we are trained in Survival thanks to our root effect, the Proud. Normally this be Intimidation, but we are already trained in Intimidation, so we are going to be getting trained in Survival instead. We are also experts in Intimidation, speaking of which, and for our feat, we are going with Fleet. At level 4 Exemplar, our class feat is going to be Basic Blood Potency, giving us access to the Sorcerer feat of Blessed Blood, giving us access to spells from our deity, which Dahak gives us access to 3 different spells: Dahak's Release, Draconic Ally, and Tail Strike. Again, this is prior to the remaster, I do believe. So this might change, I'm not sure. It does have the Blood Rager listed here, as well as the Inquisitor and Oracle. So it's quite possible that Dahak's Release is a part of the remaster. I haven't looked at the spell list, so I am not positive. We also get access to the skill feat of Hefty Hauler. At level 5, go ahead and increase your strength, dexterity, constitution, and charisma each by 2. We are now experts in athletics, we have weapon expertise, and we get the ancestry feat of Terrifying Croak. Kind of a funny name for a feat, but it works perfectly for Belmazog. Moving on to level 6, go with the class feat of Basic Sorcerer Spellcasting, and we get access to the skill feat of Experienced Tracker. At level 7, we are experts in acrobatics this time. For our feat, we'll go with Fast Recovery. For our Dominion epithet, we are going with Peerless Under Heaven. We also get access to Spirit Striking and Unassailable Soul. Moving on to level 8, we are going with the class feat of Flow of War and the skill feat of a Group Coercion. At level 9, we are Masters in Intimidation. We are going with the Ancestry feat of Dragon Scent. We have access to Divine Premonition, godly expertise, and perception expertise. At level 10, you will increase your strength, dexterity, constitution, and charisma each by 2 points. We have been able to get a lot of Belmazog's abilities, but we have forgotten to grab an ability for that tongue that the Bogard are able to use. So we're going with the class feat of Flippant Contestant Dedication. Since the prerequisite is that you have a long prehensile tongue or a tail, Belmazog happens to have both. We also get access to the skill feat of Quick Coercion. Moving on to level 11, we get access to Master Skill of Athletics and the feat of Breath Control. Be able to, swim through the water without having to go up for air every couple of minutes. Let's go ahead and move on to level 12, giving us access to the class feat of Power Lash, making our prehensile tongue a little bit more powerful, and the skill feat of Intimidating Glare. Going on to level 13, we are now masters in acrobatics. We get the ancestry feat of Envenom Edge. We also get access to Burnished Armor Expertise, Divine Weapon Mastery, and Greater Unassailable Soul. Moving on to Exemplar level 14, we are going with the class feat of Reflexive Grapple. Now our tongue can finally grab onto our foes, so that we might be able to pull them closer to us. Or maybe just throw them off the ledge. Which is something that Belmazog might actually do. And we also get the skill feat of Kip Up. Exemplar level 15. Go ahead and increase your strength and your charisma each by 1 point, while increasing your dexterity and wisdom by 2 points. We are now experts in religion, with the feat of Incredible Initiative and the Sovereignty epithet of the Last Ruler. We also get Greater Spirit Striking and Mortality Reforged. Moving on to level 16, we're going with the class feat of Strike Rivers, Seas Winds, and the skill feat of Catfall. Moving on to level 17, we are masters in religion. We know a lot about our god, the great and powerful dragon of destruction, Dahak. And we now have the ancestry feat of Formidable Breath, making our poisonous breath attack much more powerful. We also get access to Deific Mastery and Perception Mastery. Moving on to level 18, our class feat is going to be Expert Sorcerer Spellcasting, with our skill feat being Quick Swim. And now for level 19, we'll go ahead and increase our religion up to a legendary status. And we have the feat of Ancestral Paragon, giving us access to the ancestry feat of Draconic Resistance, giving us resistance, finally, to poison. We also get access to Burnished Armor Mastery. And finally, at level 20, go ahead and increase your strength and charisma to a rounded out 20, while increasing your constitution and wisdom to 18. For our class feat, we are going to remake the world. And for our skill feat, we are going to get Dahak's guidance with divine guidance. And what did you think of Belmazog? Let me know in the comment section down below. I really love this villain. Once I am able to Dungeon Master a game of Pathfinder, you better believe she is going to be one of the main antagonists of my campaign. Hope to see you next time when I am online.